Good evening.
Good evening.
We are with you here in extraordinary circumstances in the time of apocalyptic war. And this act of contact is because Baltic Sea region is having military invasion, and we do see it as the occupation of the region by military forces. And who are we? My name is Ditta Rietuma.
My name is Leif Eringsson.
And I am Connor of Baltic Sea indigenous peoples, the Godland of indigenous world order. And here is the Con.
Leif of Godland.
And furthermore, we are rulers of two Baltic Sea region countries.
Leif, Monark of State Sweden.
And I am President of State Latvian Republic. And so this is two states that we're covering, that is Sweden and Latvia, who are on both sides of our beloved Baltic Sea. And Third World War is being activated here, and 2 days ago NATO ships have landed, approached at Karlskrona on the Swedish coast, and Baltic Sea states have been filled with NATO equipments and tanks and heavy artilleries and 7 speedy air bombers have recently come to cover the air over Baltic Sea states, with so-called threats coming from Russia. And Russia says that it is being threatened by NATO, that promised not to approach close lands when the Cold War was said to be finished, but is now surrendered and surrounded by NATO forces all around Russia. And they are having Zapad military exercises, and altogether it comes to that it might be 200,000 military forces in our region around the borders of Russia, planning to get hot on the Third World War. And threatened by this development and felt betrayed by the corporations that are pretending to be the governments of these states of Baltic Sea region, we have made certain developments by proclaiming our rule, because this indigenous world order will stop the war economy new world order that is planning to enslave the people that they won't be able to kill, that to chip them and to turn them into biorobots, even more than they have been turned by their parliamentarian law dictators. So biorobotization is not in our plans.
No, definitely not.
We would like you to have thriving, fabulous lives. And we will see to it that you get it. And that's why we have created this document.
But first maybe Naka.
That's right, that's right. So how did we... 2 days ago, we were in Nacka courts, where Leif Eringsson, the monarch of State Sweden, was officially registered into the court proceeding documents as that were added with the proclamation of monarchy of State Sweden.
Yes.
And that happened because we left by us signed decision to the court to build nuclear waste cemeteries of Swedish nuclear waste, not in the place where they are planning to be built, but we decided that it has to be built at least 50 kilometers from the seashore in deep boreholes. That is at least 5 to 4 kilometers deep into the ground, deep under the levels of all water systems that living systems are using.
And in this court we could proclaim the monarchy State Sweden.
Ja, prata lite högre.
And in this court we could proclaim the monarchy.
We did
We did proclaim the monarchy State Sweden, and we left the proclamation in the court record.
Yeah. So it is officially now in the system, registered, and it was a fabulous audience of very professional people who do have a lot of knowledge about nuclear weapons and administration of societies. It was around at least or more than 100 people there, and it was divinely put by the gods as the day of the court where I was invited to give this evidence was the same day when foreign troops were landing to our land. It was the 8th of September 2017, with 10,000 added for indigenous timescale. So we do feel that the gods are with us.
Yes.
And we are, with big steps, marching to decentralize the criminal nuclear war systems and establish indigenous world order. And this fabulous monarch of State Sweden is here to make it happen in Sweden. So, and what you did in your proclamation, you also mentioned the Swedish Army Chief General, yeah?
Yes.
And that proclamation you will read later, and it is in Swedish, yeah?
Yes, that's in Swedish.
But anyway, you did make him stand down, yeah?
Yes.
And you took his place.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you did in the proclamation. And now in this decree, in this order, we both will make the NATO, the Russian and all other corporations to stand down from their plans of military exercise, aggression. From both as diarchs and leaders of our countries, and also as justice of Baltic's indigenous courts. Could you please read it for the people?
Yes. Public order of revocation and return to kin. 10/9/12,017, 10,000 added for indigenous time. Reminding the nullifying of legal authority of all corporate military and law enforcement agencies in the world and trillion beer to NATO, etc., to return to kin.
Baltic indigenous rules, yeah.
Issued to all corporate military officers and pretense government officials by diarchs of indigenous world order, Ditta, Rietuma and Leif Eringsson, by Baltic Sea Indigenous Court, Latvia, Sweden, Earth District, by President of State, Republic of Latvia, Ditta, Rietuma, by Monarch of State Sweden, Leif Eringsson. Let it be known as of September 10, 12,017, 10,000 added for indigenous, under the Baltic Sea Indigenous Court X decision or 10th decision of September 9, 12,017, Swedish Military Commission Chief Björn von Sydow, 22nd 4th month 17, received 1 trillion Baltic indigenous runes for indigenous decentralization of all military corporations and return of all troops to their families to fertilize their women and empower their kin. But Sydow betrayed us. Monarchy of State Sweden for the nation of Sweden, as proclaimed in the autumn of 12,017, 8/9/17, and State Latvia's Republika, as proclaimed autumn 11,918 and renewed 1938 or 11,938 indigenous time, have entered into no agreements allowing alien military inside the borders of the Swedish and Latvian nations and do not allow such. This includes the so-called Aurora 17, Northern Coasts, Zapad, and all other so-called military exercises of secret New World Order government corporations like NATO, USA, Pravistelstvo RF in Russia, and all other corporations faking to be states but instead executing systemic criminal nuclear war system mass murder of their inhabitants, their activities. Baltic Sea Indigenous Court has criminalized any war mangling activities in a series of indigenous court proceedings in 4 languages. See www.bsrrw.org, and U2 channels Radioactive BSR, Free Latvia, and Baltic Sea Indigenous. Sweden, Latvia, and all other countries of the world are now a peaceful zone that can not be invaded or practiced in by any foreign powers. If such activity yet should occur, this then is an act of war and a declaration of war against a peaceful nation. Should such an invasion nevertheless occur, peace and further harm can immediately be restored through any aggression parties fully cooperating with the local peoples, where all loyal to the nation have been called on to help make an inventory of all landed equipment. Their instructions are in particular to look for nuclear weapons and heavy drugs. And that found heavy drugs contraband should be made an inventory of and burned on site during video recording, and that nuclear weapons must immediately be taken back home again from where they came from, and that all foreign soldiers should be sent home again, where these soldiers are themselves or encouraged to organize their own Godland communities, assuming no obligations from the unlawful and illegitimate business corporate states, recognizing no treaties, agreements, contracts, etc. made through such states, them being dissolved along with the whole business corporate state system, including international cooperation agencies created from this company-based system, and this through the indigenous-led decentralization of Ditta and Leif of Godland of 12,017-06-11, which closed down any corporate business privilege, any and all corporate charters for all the businesses pretending to be governments of the people of all the world's 200 states, together with all forms of agreements made on such constructions, regardless of these treaties then referred to as agreements, national or international statutes, rules, treaties, executive orders, executive directives, constitutions, or otherwise. Our Leif Eriksson's royal title is Monarch of Staten, Sverige, Monarch of State Sweden, and our state is named Monarchy Staten Sweden, or in English Monarchy State Sweden. We do not assume any obligations from the unlawful business or corporate state Konungariket Sverige, Kingdom of Sweden, etc. Ditta Rietuma is the president of the renewed state of Republic of Latvia by her 21st 617 decree of succession of the leader of Latvian society, Karlis Ulmanis, who just as well had to enforce monarchy-like order to save the people of Latvia on 15/3/34.
Yeah.
Godland is restored global indigenous world order that is ruled by diarchs Ditta and Leif of Godland, reinstalling local indigenous leadership, courts and oxamani.
Courts and oxamani, yeah.
Courts, didn't I say that?
Yeah, it's very hard with English.
Courts and oxamani. To act in peace, love and understanding, you have to reorganize your society. To obey the elders of the indigenous peoples of any region, to hold indigenous courts of 9 wise, loving and peaceful indigenous, bracket, no Roman law, no lawyers, end bracket. Renewing gift economy, to use real money, oxa, that is never debt, grants basic income that installs the end of feudal slavery, is created by local indigenous people for each one themselves or for their loved and loyal ones, and compensations created by the elders, cons, monarchs and diarchs to find 999 hectares of land in each community for the indigenous lifestyle, to build indigenous temples and schools, and install the peaceful and loving priests of the living gods. This order has the full effect of the law. And it's signed Ditta Rietuma, Justice, Baltic Sea Indigenous Court, President of State, Republic of Latvia, Khan of Godland, Östersjöväldet, and
Leif Eringsson, Justice, Baltic Sea Indigenous Court, Monarch of State, Sweden, and Khan of Godland, Östersjöväldet. And here we stand and protect our lands, our sea, and all other waters, our air, and with us are our peoples. No more war, no more war crimes. Let the war times be over.
let the war times be over.
And may the warriors become the lovers. And may the lovers go home to their beloved. And let there come the next generation of lovers that will be made by these ex-warriors. Let it be so.
Let it be so.
Unfortunately, when I gave the 10 trillion Swedish crowns tally stick to Björn von Sydow, he didn't really understand what to do with it. So we will have to make more tally sticks and learn to what to do with them, to create this new economy system that is the old economy system of real money that is not the bankster fraud trap. As King Henry did something like 1,000 years ago almost, when they for 700 years were using tally sticks that Rothschilds burned down 300 years ago. Now the tally stick is back. And so will be the times of love, peace,
And understanding.
We will see to it.
We will see to it.
And so we sit here and protect the divine earthly miracle of life. Be with us as the gods are.